The silence that accuses you. You never heard it out loud, but you felt it. You felt it so many times that you got used to carrying absence as if it were part of you. The look that didn't see you. The message that never came. The choice that was never you. There's something about silent rejection that hurts more than screams. It hides behind smiles, polite hugs, full tables, and empty souls. You grew up believing that if you were nicer, prettier, more useful, maybe they would choose you. But they didn't. And the silence screamed, "You're not enough." That sentence was never said, but it was taught. Through absences, through comparisons, through presences that never truly saw you. And you learned to compensate, to give too much, to please too much, to hide so you wouldn't bother anyone, to smile so you wouldn't be left. But the soul knows. It cries on the pillow. It screams in the shower. It goes quiet in group conversations. It bleeds without anyone seeing. It's the pain of someone who was never validated. Someone who always felt they had to earn love. Someone who grew up thinking they were the problem, when in truth, they were just someone trying to exist in a deaf world. That pain has a name: rejection. And it wounds your identity. It steals the sparkle from your eyes and the sound from your voice. But what you still don't know is that this pain didn't come to destroy you. It came to awaken you. Because sometimes man's rejection is God's protection. The Lord does not look at the things people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. 1 Samuel 16:7. Never chosen, always waiting. Have you noticed how it always seems like there's a place where you almost belong, but never completely? It's as if life puts you in an emotional waiting line. You're there, but no one calls you. You try, but no one notices. You love, but no one returns it. Since childhood, you've carried this feeling of being the backup, plan B, the one only remembered when the favorite is missing. At school, you watched groups forming and felt like there was always one piece missing for you to fit in. The laughter wasn't yours, the invitation wasn't for you, the choice was always another name. And you learned to wait, not with hope, but with a silent wound dressed up as conformity. You waited for love, you waited for recognition, you waited for someone to finally see you with eyes that weren't weighing your performance, your body, your usefulness. But it didn't come. And that created noise inside you, an echo of questions no one answers. Why not me? What's wrong with me? Why do I always seem to be the one left over? You are not left over. You were simply taught to measure yourself by the ruler of a world that loves spectacle but ignores essence. Joseph also waited. He waited to be loved by his brothers. He waited to be recognized. But what he received was rejection, betrayal, and abandonment inside a pit. His brothers hated him and could not speak a kind word to him, Genesis 37:4. But even inside the pit, God already had plans for a throne. You were not forgotten. You were hidden, protected from places that would have destroyed you if you had entered them with a broken identity. This waiting is sacred. It is in it that God builds you in the invisible. It is in it that He heals your wounds before exposing you to the world. It's not about being last, it's about being refined in the secret place. The pain no one saw. There are pains we scream, and there are pains we hide. Not out of cowardice, but because we learned that no one truly listens. Have you ever tried to open your heart, only to be met with an empty piece of advice? Or with a, "You're exaggerating"? So you learned. You learned that feeling too much scares people, that expressing too much makes others uncomfortable, that showing your inner pain risks being labeled weak. So you began to silence yourself, to collect internal wounds, to smile on the outside while bleeding on the inside, until you reached a point where even you no longer knew where it hurt. It's an invisible loneliness, the kind that follows you even when you're surrounded by people, the kind that whispers at the end of the day, "You're alone." And worse than being alone is feeling alone even when someone is holding you. This is the pain of those who were never given the right to be vulnerable, of those who were trained to hide, to emotionally survive. And do you know what's even more cruel? It's when this pain isn't taken seriously even by those who should care. Do you think the woman with the issue of blood hadn't cried out for help before touching Jesus? 12 years of pain, bleeding on the inside and the outside, avoided, ignored, considered unclean. She carried a physical wound, but her greatest pain was emotional. She came up behind him and touched his cloak. Mark 5:27. She didn't touch out of boldness. She touched because she could no longer endure being ignored. And in that silent touch, Jesus stopped everything. Because God sees what no one else sees. He feels what others ignore. He stops all of heaven for a touch of your soul. Do you really think he doesn't see your hidden pain? It doesn't matter how many people ignored you. You still carry value. Even wounded, there is still healing. Even alone, there is still presence. And maybe, just maybe, this pain is the road back to who you truly are.
The origin of your wound. You were not born feeling rejected. That was taught to you. Not with words, but with looks, with absences, with small phrases that cut deep and stayed. Be quiet. You're too sensitive. Why can't you be like your brother? You're too much, too intense. And there, without realizing it, your identity began to be shaped by rejection. Your soul started seeking permission to exist. You realized that to be accepted, you would have to leave parts of yourself outside. Your spontaneous laughter, your honest tears, your fragile voice. That was the beginning of self-abandonment. And the most cruel part? Most of the time, it started with those who should have loved you. Absent parents, cold caregivers, environments where you had to be grown up far too early. Elijah, the prophet, defeated kings, confronted crowds, but after all that, he ran. He fled to a cave and asked to die. "Enough, Lord, take my life." From 1 Kings chapter 19, verse 4. Do you know what that shows? Even those who carry anointing carry wounds. Even those who appear strong on the outside bleed on the inside. The rejection Elijah felt wasn't only external, it was internal. The exhaustion of someone who fights for everyone but has no one fighting for him. The pain of someone who is used but not cared for. Maybe that's you. Maybe your story is full of achievements on the outside, but inside there's a child waiting for an embrace that never came. A soul waiting for an answer no one gave. But God gave it. In the silence of the cave, he did not come with thunder. He came with a gentle whisper. Because God heals in the same language in which you were wounded. If it was in silence, it is in silence that he will restore you. You just need to allow him to go to the origin. Because you no longer need to live trying to earn love. You are already loved, even wounded, even confused, even tired. Self-abandonment disguised as love. There are people who never abandoned you because they never had to. You did it yourself. You went ahead of them. You gave up on yourself before they could give up on you. The pain of rejection was so strong, so early, so constant, that you decided to take a shortcut. If I erase myself, maybe they'll accept me. If I hide who I am, maybe they'll want me around. And so, you began to abandon yourself. You learned to love others more intensely than you loved yourself. To silence your desires so you wouldn't be a burden. To accept emotional crumbs, thinking they were a feast. The worst kind of rejection is the one that comes from within. You reject yourself. You silence yourself. You mold yourself to expectations that were never yours. And all of that, do you know what you call it? Love, empathy, a good heart. But deep down, it's fear. It's trauma disguised as kindness. It's a broken mirror trying to look whole. Have you ever looked in the mirror and felt like you didn't recognize who was there? That soul you left behind still cries for you, because no one was born to live for the acceptance of others. What you often call peace is just the absence of external conflict at the cost of an internal war. And that war is slowly killing your soul, because living by erasing yourself is a slow way of dying. But there's a truth that can turn the key. Who God created does not need to hide. He made you with color, with strength, with intensity. And everything you tried to hide was exactly what heaven wanted to use. Jesus never asked you to erase yourself in order to be loved. He called you by name. I have redeemed you. I have called you by your name. You are mine. Isaiah 43:1. God's love does not demand performance. It demands surrender, but surrender of who you are, not of who you pretend to be. Do you still know who you are? Or have you gotten lost trying to be what others expected?
The weight of being strong all the time. You became the person everyone looks for, but no one asks, and you, are you okay? You are the shoulder, the shelter, the counselor, the support. But inside, you are exhausted. Because there is a silent cost to being too strong. When you don't fall apart, people assume you don't feel. But you do feel. You feel everything. Other people's pain, the abandonment of yourself, the anguish of not being allowed to fall because no one will catch you. Being strong became armor, but every armor, sooner or later, becomes too heavy. You didn't want to be this fortress. You had to be, because you learned that if you weakened, no one would understand you. If you cried, they would say you were dramatic. If you asked for help, they would blame you for not being able to handle it. So you became a wall. But the wall also trapped you inside. And when the soul lives imprisoned in the role of the strong one, it stops asking for help. It stops hoping for comfort. It starts getting used to the desert. Mephibosheth was born into royalty, but he grew up hidden, crippled, emotionally broken, living in Lodabar, the land of forgetfulness. Mephibosheth lived in Lodabar. 2 Samuel 9:4. Do you know what Lodabar is? It's the place where they put those who seem incapable, where those forgotten by history live, those who were wounded before they even learned how to walk. Mephibosheth was a son of identity, but lived like a burden, just like you. Born with a calling, but taught to survive as someone who shouldn't expect much. But David sent for him. And when he arrived at the palace, afraid, ashamed, feeling like nothing, David said, "You will eat at my table every day, even broken, even wounded, even without understanding." Because the place of your restoration does not depend on you being whole. It depends on you allowing yourself to be found. Do you still think you need to earn love in order to be accepted? The soul's cry in silence. There is a kind of pain that makes no noise. It doesn't tear the skin, it doesn't stain your clothes, but it empties your chest. It is the soul's cry, the one that echoes inside when everything looks fine on the outside. You talk and no one hears. You explain and no one understands. You smile, but inside you are asking for help. It's as if your existence is on a different frequency. You speak softly, and the world responds with loud noise. And so, you begin to go quiet. Not because you want to, but because you get tired of not being heard, of not being understood, of always being the one who overcomplicates, feels too much, expects too much. But do you know what no one ever told you? Feeling too much is not weakness. It is spiritual sensitivity. Some people don't fit into this world, because they carry a calling that hasn't been activated yet. Some people cry in silence because their soul is asking for a reunion with the Creator. You miss something you never lived. You thirst for a place you've never been. You long for a love you've never fully experienced. This is the voice of the Spirit, trying to awaken what pain has put to sleep. Do you remember Elijah, the prophet who confronted kings, but collapsed in a cave, afraid and exhausted? In the cave, God did not come with wind, nor fire, nor earthquake. He came with a gentle whisper. After the earthquake came a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire came a gentle whisper. 1 Kings 19:12. Why? Because God knows how to speak in the same tone your soul cries in. He responds to your silence. He enters your cave. He doesn't need an audience to heal you. He only needs access. You spent your whole life waiting to be understood by the right people. But maybe it's time to allow yourself to be found by a God who has never misunderstood you, because your inner cry is the prayer heaven understands before it ever leaves your mouth.
The day you gave up being you. Do you remember? It wasn't a specific day. It was an accumulation, a weariness, a silent enough. There was a moment, or many, when you decided, it's better to pretend than to be rejected again. And there, you began to disappear. Not physically, but in essence, as if you put on a mask and it fused to your skin. You were still present at gatherings. You still talked, smiled, worked, served, but it wasn't you anymore. It was an edited version, censored, trained not to be too much, not to cause discomfort, not to ask, not to cry. You became the easy-to-deal-with person. But inside, you lived imprisoned. This prison has no bars. It has expectations and the fear of being abandoned. You spent your life trying to be what others wanted, and in the process, you lost what you needed most, your truth. There are people who live surrounded by others, yet have no one who truly knows their soul. Because in order to be loved, you believed you had to leave your essence outside. But every time we abandon ourselves, a piece of the soul goes dark. And over time, you began to forget. What do you truly like? What moves you? What is you, and what was imposed by others? It's confusing, it's heavy, and it's profoundly unjust to the beauty you carry. But God, He never loved your mask. He always saw your truth. He is the only one who loves you for who you are, not for who you try to be. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Jeremiah 1:5. Heaven knows your original identity, the one designed before pain, before comparison, before performance. You may have forgotten who you are, but God hasn't. And the good news? You no longer have to hold up the facade to be accepted. Maybe the greatest liberation of your life isn't changing places, but coming home within yourself.
When loving becomes survival. Loving is beautiful, but when your soul is wounded, loving becomes a survival instinct. You don't love because you want to. You love because you need to be needed. Have you ever caught yourself trying to save people? Doing for them what no one did for you? Giving everything, enduring everything, accepting everything, hoping that maybe then they won't leave you? It's subtle, but deeply destructive. You confuse love with function, presence with dependence, relationship with a contract for permanence. And deep down, what you're really saying is, stay, even if I disappear. You begin to accept emotional crumbs. You say yes when you want to say no. You forgive the unforgivable out of fear of losing again. But let me tell you something that maybe no one ever told you. You were not created to beg for affection. God didn't make you for relationships where you have to shrink to fit, nor for connections that demand everything from you and give you nothing. And here's the hardest part. Sometimes what you call love
is just the repetition of a pattern. The wounded child inside you trying to fix rejection with sacrifice. You believe that if you love others enough, they will love you back. But that is a lie. Those who love excessively to be accepted forget to love themselves in order to exist. And do you know what is most beautiful about God's heart? He doesn't want you because he needs you. He wants you because he loves you. I have loved you with an everlasting love. Therefore, I have drawn you with loving kindness. Jeremiah 31:3. God doesn't want to use you first. He wants to heal you first. Before being an instrument, you are a child. Before serving, you need to be restored. Before loving another, you need to rediscover yourself. Maybe it's time to stop trying to keep everyone close and allow God to show you that you are already enough, even if no one stays. The invisible war between mind, soul, and spirit. There is a war happening inside you, and maybe you're losing without even knowing you're fighting. It's not a war you can see. It doesn't show up in exams, isn't explained by ordinary psychology, and isn't solved with motivational phrases. It's a battle between three voices: the logical mind, the wounded soul, and the spirit that still remembers who you are. The mind says, "You have to be strong. This is an exaggeration. Keep going." The soul screams, "I can't take it anymore." And the spirit whispers, "Come back home. There is healing in me." But in the rush of life, the loudest voice is usually the soul's cry, because it feels everything, it carries everything, it remembers every wound, every abandonment, every silence. But the soul, as intense as it is, was not meant to govern your life. What rules your identity is not the soul, it is the spirit. And if the spirit is asleep, you live by emotional reactions. You make decisions based on pain. You choose relationships out of neediness. You make career choices out of fear. You live to survive instead of living to fulfill purpose. And then you get lost. You no longer know if what you feel is real or trauma, if what you want is desire or escape, if what you're living is divine direction or just the repetition of a wound. But there is a way out, and it begins with a simple prayer. Holy Spirit, teach me to live by the Spirit and not by pain. Walk by the Spirit, and you will not gratify the desires of the flesh. Galatians 5:16. The soul needs healing, but only the Spirit can lead you back to your truth. When the Spirit awakens, the soul finds rest, the mind finds clarity, and identity finds direction. You are not what you feel. You are what heaven says you are. And this inner war can be won, but only when you stop fighting alone. The truth that disarms guilt. Guilt has a sound. It's subtle, but constant. It says, if you had been better, if you weren't so fragile, if you hadn't failed back then. And you believed it. You began to live like someone who needs to pay for something, trying to compensate for lost love, carrying a cross that Jesus already carried for you. Guilt is one of the enemy's greatest strategies. It doesn't need to destroy you. It only needs to keep you away from the truth. Because while you feel unworthy, you withdraw. You think you can't pray. You can't surrender. You can't be healed. You even say, I believe in God. But inside you feel, He wouldn't do this for someone like me. But let me tell you something, with all love and truth. The cross is not a reward for those who get it right. It is a refuge for those who are bleeding. Jesus did not come for the righteous. He came for the wounded, for the forgotten, for those broken on the inside. But God demonstrates His own love for us in this: while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Romans 5:8. You don't need to heal yourself to draw near. You draw near, and He heals you. The truth that disarms guilt is this: you are loved exactly where you are, not because of your performance, but because of your essence, simply because you were created with eternal purpose. Heaven does not look at you with contempt. It looks at you with compassion.
The same compassion Jesus had when he saw the woman caught in adultery. She expected stones. She received forgiveness. You too. It doesn't matter what they said. It doesn't matter what you did. There is no guilt greater than grace. There is no wound deeper than the Father's love. You are closer to restoration than you realize.
The wound that became a calling. There is something no one ever told you about your pain. It was not an ending, it was a preparation. The wound you tried to hide for years is exactly the place where God will use you to heal others. Do you think you cried for nothing? That you were rejected without purpose? That all your losses were just bad luck? No, you were marked to mark generations. Joseph was betrayed by his own brothers, thrown into a pit, sold as a slave, unjustly imprisoned. Years of silence, years of abandonment, years when he could have said, "God forgot me." But God does not forget promises. He matures them through pain. And one day, Joseph understood, God has made me fruitful in the land of my suffering. Genesis 41:52. The same land where he cried was where he became governor. The same mouth that cried out for help became a prophetic voice to save a nation. The wound became ministry. Rejection became direction. The pit became a platform. And what about you? What is the area where you were hit the hardest, where it hurt the most, where you had to fight just to survive? That's it. That exact place is where God wants to activate your calling. Because those who have walked through pain minister with compassion. Those who were rejected welcome others with truth. Those who almost died on the inside carry authority to resurrect others. You are not the trauma. You are the result of what heaven did despite it. And maybe everything you lived through was meant to bring you back to who you truly are. A healer, a prophet, a father to wounded hearts, a mother to emotional orphans, a voice in the middle of silence. You thought your story disqualified you, but it qualifies you, because only those who truly heal are those who once bled and survived. The name heaven gave you. You spent your whole life trying to figure out who you are, trying to be accepted, trying to fit in, trying to earn a place. But the truth is, you were never who pain said you were. Rejection tried to give you names: difficult, too sensitive, misfit, problematic, unworthy, weak. And you believed them, because when no one calls you by your true name, you accept any label just to belong. But let me tell you something. Heaven knows you by another name. Before rejection, before abandonment, before loss, God was already calling you. To all who received him, to those who believed in his name, he gave the right to become children of God. John 1:12. Child, chosen, guardian of hearts, poet of the unseen, prophet of wounds. You are not what happened to you. You are what the Father whispered about you in the secret place. David was the forgotten son, the one his own father didn't even call when Samuel came to anoint a king. All of the brothers were presented. David stayed with the sheep. But the prophet looked and said, "We will not sit down until he comes." 1 Samuel 16:11. David was not remembered at the family table, but he was remembered on God's throne. His name was already written in heaven, and yours is too. You have a name that is not rejection, not failure, not almost, not enough. You have a prophetic name, a name that carries purpose, a name that cries out, "You belong." And from the moment you embrace who God says you are, pain no longer has the same power, because you remember, I was chosen even before I was forgotten. Restoration, where everything begins again. Restoration is not returning to who you were. It is finally becoming who you always were,
but didn't know. Because pain may have shaped your paths, but it did not erase your essence. It did not steal what heaven wrote about you. Maybe you look at your story and think, but I lost so much. I was so broken. I wasted years. But God does not work with waste. He turns every ruin into foundation. They will be called oaks of righteousness, a planting of the Lord for the display of his splendor. They will rebuild the ancient ruins. This is restoration. It is God taking you by the hand, leading you back inside, reminding you, you never stopped being a child. It is when you begin to make peace with the mirror, with your story, with the parts of you that you tried to kill in order to be accepted. It is when you realize you no longer need to run. You no longer need to prove. You no longer need to pretend. Now it is about breathing again. Restoration is not magic. It is process. It is allowing grace to enter where shame once lived. It is saying, God, show me how to live without hiding. And do you know what is beautiful? The God who created you already knew the entire path, from trauma to reunion, from detour to return. You are not late. You are not lost. You are not alone. You are exactly at the point where everything begins again. Because when the soul begins to listen to the Spirit, chaos turns into a garden. And today, maybe without realizing it, you arrived at that place, the place where rejection loses its voice, and the Spirit of God calls you by name.
You were never rejected by God. You thought it was just you crying in the dark, just you waiting to be chosen. Just you trying to understand why it hurts so much to want to be loved. But in the deepest place of your soul, there was a presence, silent, faithful, constant. Even when everyone turned their backs, even when you cried out and no one answered, even when you abandoned yourself, God did not step away. Your pain did not scare him. Your past did not surprise him. Your wrong choices did not cancel what he spoke over you. You may have been rejected by people, but you were never rejected by God. Never. Though my father and mother forsake me, the Lord will receive me. Psalm 27:10. This is not just a promise. It is a spiritual reality that holds you even when everything around you collapses. God saw you in childhood when you were forgotten. He saw you in the late nights when no one noticed your pain. He saw you trying to be strong, trying to please, trying to belong, and he never turned his face away. Because his love is not conditional. It does not come after your performance. It comes before your pain. You no longer need to run, or hide, or prove anything. You are a child. You belong. The love your soul always searched for was never in others. It was always in him. And now, breathe, because this is the sound of restoration. The soul coming home, the spirit awakening, the identity being remembered. You were chosen, called, sealed, healed. And everything that wounded you is now leading you closer to your mission. You were wounded, but not discarded. You were broken, but you are being rebuilt. You were rejected, but never forgotten. Because in heaven, your name is still engraved in his hands, and nothing, absolutely nothing, will erase that. See, I have engraved you on the palms of my hands. Isaiah 49:16. Now, come back to presence, come back to truth, come back to who you are, because you were never invisible, never leftover, never too late. You are loved, and that will never change. If this spoke to your soul, stay here. You're not alone, and this is just the beginning. Like, share, and subscribe for more spiritual healing videos.